he was a political prisoner in Ukraine. Yes.
I'll introduce. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much. If I could just ask for maybe 10, 15 minutes more of your attention. Speaking of victims of Putin's regime and the years of persecution and what's happening today in Ukraine, today we have a very special guest. His name is Oleksii Anulia. He was a prisoner of war inside Russia, captured by Russian troops in the village of Lukashivka, which is the Chernihiv Oblast in Ukraine. He spent 10 months in solitary confinement within Russia, also in parts of Ukraine, in Donetsk, occupied territories. Oleksii. 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 So Oleksii just finished publishing a book called Jingle Bellz. It's a first-hand account of his time in Russian captivity. Currently, the book is published specifically in Russian and in the Latvian language. Now, two reasons I'll explain why. Number one, the president of Latvia and the mayor of Ogan actually sponsored and gave him all of the resources needed to write this book. He pretty much closed himself up and just wrote it. It took him about a year or so to do. And it's in Russian because of all of the countries in the post-Soviet republics that understand all the Russian language, so it would be much more difficult to publish it in each one of the languages. It will be published in English, and I'm going to give Oleksii a couple words, and I'll be translating. Everybody speaks English, yes, here? Yeah? Okay. I will translate, so we'll give Oleksii the floor. Please welcome him. My name is Oleksii Anulia. I'm a former prisoner of war. Until 2022, I was never a soldier. I mobilized just because I felt that I had to save my family and my country. My father also went and mobilized, and my younger brother. All the men in my family have died, except for myself and my son. I spent 2 weeks in full encirclement by Russian forces. I was wounded, trying to escape, getting to Ukrainians, but during that escape, during the time that he was traveling, trying to get out, he was captured by Russian soldiers. And it just so happens that I was not captured and caught by them exactly. I was actually given up by a woman in the village that I was in, the Ukrainian village that I was in. I was actually very lucky. It was an act of fate, act of God that saved me. I was taken to be shot and to be executed. In the last moment, I turned around and I asked to call my wife, my family. And in that moment, I heard bullets just come right by me. And after that, they thought that I was some special type of trained special operations agent because the bullets did not graze him, and then they took him for further questioning. They questioned him as an American mercenary because he had a belt on that said the words Pentagon on it, which is the brand. Yeah. the men that were interrogating him were Buryats, and Buryats are like they're no Buryat. No, they look the Asian looking. Yes, yes. And they were asking him how he speaks Russian so well without an accent. Where did he learn it? Because he spoke better than they did. When the general heard that there was executions happening and shots being fired, he asked what was going on, and they said that they had caught that the whole village had been taken control over. They had occupied the whole village, and they asked how was he able to get out. And after that, they brought him to General, whose general's name was General Poplavsky. During his interrogation, they wanted to get information from his cell phone, and the Buryat soldier who was interrogating him couldn't figure out how to open his phone, which was a button phone, right? And it was just a simple square with a diagonal line that he wasn't able to figure out. When I came into the first interrogation, there were already 2 Ukrainian prisoners that were all bloodied up from the beatings, and I saw them as soon as I came in. After the interrogation, they brought a truck over, which was filled with stolen goods, potatoes, things from the farms, and also with dead bodies at the same time. And that's where they put them into. They took us 3 injured soldiers into the truck, and they drove us just into just near the border of Belarus, where they began torturing us, and that's when his imprisonment started. We we were driving for 4 hours, and upon arrival, they just threw us off of the back of the truck, not caring if we landed, how we landed, where we landed, and instantly just started beating us again. And that's the moment that my Russian captivity began. Inside of the cell, there was attempts of rape. He said I forgot to even pray, but somehow I was miraculously saved from that. At that time when that was occurring, the Ukrainian military was counterattacking artillery, and the artillery shells blew out the door of where exactly he was, and he fell out of there naked. And afterwards, he was suspended by his own body weight for 6 days, hung up by wires for that whole time. Very short, I'll tell about. but two of the other soldiers that came with me were executed. He was beat for 6 hours, and in the morning they hung him up through by an extension cord. In the morning they brought new soldiers, and they continued the beatings, and that's where they were daily raping men. One of the soldiers that I write about in this book was raped by Russian soldiers 9 days straight. There was no logic to it. I mean, he just had a beard, and they said because of your beard. So Oleksii is actually a kickboxing champion for the former Soviet Union, and one of the individuals who was on the Russian side, one of his captors, actually recognized him because they had fought together against each other in Russia. Yeah, yeah, during his kickboxing career, and they were opponents essentially. Yeah, I mean, for a competition, for a sportsman-like competition, and he actually helped him to survive essentially. He was from Irkutsk. He noticed me. I didn't even notice him at first, but he helped me. He said, I'm going to send you to Russia, but it's going to be very hard for you, but you will live. And he cared about him. He had said that you're not your life is I'm not indifferent to it. He was in the Kursk region. 7 hours they were driving there. They were tied up. They couldn't go to the restroom. They couldn't get comfortable at all. So just complete and total agony. Upon getting there, the first type of torture that they would start with them was they got on their knees, and he had to have his forehead up against the wall. Well, but they took the scotch off of his eyes. Okay, you couldn't get up because your knees, your legs would get numb because you would be on your knees the whole time, and that's actually used as a tactic for people to not to run away, because when you get up from being in that position, that you have so much your legs are numb, you can't actually walk, and so they would have to sit in that position for как долго? For 3.5 hours. That's the position that he had to stay in. They brought me in last and checked me, got me completely fully undressed to make sure I didn't have anything with me. When I was the Irkutsk soldier who had noticed him, he's the one who gave me. He saw that I was completely naked. He's the one who gave me his underwear, his boxers. Oh, and then right after that, they put him in front of uh, 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 other soldiers, and they thought that he took this underwear from dead soldiers, from dead Russian soldiers. And that's the day that I got under the um, intensive watch of the main guard of the commander of the prison where he was at. We got 2 sips of water once per day. Как дисбат будет по-английски? Ah, okay. Okay, yeah. So it was a military prison. He was there for 12 days. And he was not, they gave him barely any water, just 2 sips of water per day, just enough to survive, not enough to die. We were not allowed to sleep. We were surrounded by the encampment was tents, barbed wire, and German shepherds. We had to be on our knees. We were not allowed to sleep at 12 o'clock. They would make sure that we were not sleeping, and we had to stay on our knees until the morning time, until the breakfast that they would give us. During those 12 days, they would tore out 2 of my teeth. Part of part of the bone of my jaw was also because he had shrapnel also from the wound that he sustained. They just tore him out without any anesthetic at all. There was no, and so yeah, that еще раз, извини, скажи, тебе дали. Upon after they pull out my teeth and upon arrival, they gave me 2 large buckets. And I had to take the shit from from the shepherds, from the German shepherds, their stools and their waste, and I had to mix it with sand, and I had a lot of blood in my mouth, and so I spit it out. And when I spit out, and they saw that, they said, "Never again! Don't you ever again spit out and do that." Every other 4 days, there would be new prisoners that would be arriving. There'd be people with broken spines. There's people that had, the people that had infections that were just simply no antibacterial, no medical care at all. They were just wrapped up in gauze, different types of injuries. And one of them was the soldier Ruslan, who was the one who was raped over and over. In 12 days, they got us fully naked and took us out on the cold. Make sure that we had nothing on us. They checked us again. They checked all of the cracks and crevices on our body, all of the spots where we could have brought something through. And that's when they took us to the Kursk prison, number 1. With us was a civilian woman who was 62 years old. 62 years old, yeah. The reason why she was taken prisoner was because they found $6,000 uh, in her home, and they thought that it was money that Zelensky paid her to fight the Russians. We were beat 7 hours a day. We got there at 2 o'clock, and we didn't get into our actual cells by until 10. They would make us sing the Russian national anthem, the song Katyusha, the national song, and they would throw piss, urine at us. We were exposed to electroshocks in the bathhouse, naked. We were stretched out fully, and they would take this uh, I don't know, like kind of like a just a club, and stretch them out and beat them all individually. When they were taking my fingerprints, they took a woman who they dragged by the hair, uh, and it was a special operator, a Russian special Spetsnaz, who had actually broken my jaw. And they were screaming at her, "Khaklyatskaya suka," which is like you Ukrainian bitch. And I tried to explain to them that the reason why she had money is because it's normal for older people to have money saved up. It's not money that's used for to fight Russians. It's normal. After that they tried to just fully they put us under cold water and with her, and they made us take our hands, which were after the fingerprints, which were black with the ink, and made us rub it on her body, only almost to look as if we're doing some type of intimate act with the woman. After that, we were when they actually split us up into our cells, we were completely shocked. I had broken ribs, I had a broken jaw, I had a broken nose. 40 days I could not use the restroom. I could not go to the bathroom because that's how bad my kidneys were beat up. I got into a cell of 4 people where there was 12 border guards from Gostomel that were defending the Gostomel airport, which was where the Antonov airplane was. These were the border guards who. Ah, okay. These were gentlemen who thought that there would be no war with Russia, and they were saying that there would be no war. And as soon as they were trying to leave Ukraine, that they were captured by the Russians. Yeah, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let's go one by one. Da, da, da. You could see them. They're just from their just. Did you understand? And also the буряты были первые, которые в Буче были, да? Did you understand? Yeah. So the question was, how did you know that they were Buryаты, which are again how was he able to know how recognize them? Because it's very simple. Because well, number one, you could just see the facial recognition, and also because of this knife that they would carry, and they would say it themselves that they. Yeah, well, yeah. Right, right. Well, they were not they were the ones who took him into captivity, but when he got into captivity, they were тебя буряты взяли именно в плен, а уже после этого, а уже there was already Russians that were torturing him. Yeah, yeah. So the Buryats were the ones that were captured him. They just wanted to rob him, rob everyone, and kill. Yeah. The cell is for four people. We had was на камере 4. There was 12 people inside of a cell for that is made for four people. They cut off all of the water, any type of hygiene in particular that could be used. We use toilet water to essentially do everything. We would take us 1 hour, one time per week into a shower, and even then they wouldn't give us enough time to even really wash up. Everything was done through beatings, multiple beatings throughout every process that was conducted. We had what do you call those? Bed bugs, all of everything that you would see in unsanitary conditions. They would put us into what's called this was another thing that they used. They put us into a 90-degree posture, and they would play what they called piano with the sticks that they would use to go around the cell blocks, and they would play do re mi fa sol la si while beating the all individual prisoners. And that's how I had two vertebrae broken over the 40 days. And my body was constantly endured electric shock. I have dog bites all over my hand, and they would beat us day and night, and then plus at during the daytime, the spetsnaz would come and give us more beating. On Passover, they asked us if we have any Orthodox prisoners among us. Do we want? Asked us if we want an egg, a Passover egg. Instead, they gave us a slice of cabbage with hot water in it, covered up, and that's it. The hunger at that time was so intense that even just from a slice of just simple cabbage or lettuce, the energy that we got from that was undescribable. And then at 8 o'clock in that evening on Passover night, they started beating us right near our testicles, on our testicles, because we said that yes, we wanted eggs for Passover. They would be men and women. The woman who is now actually and who has been freed. She was a teacher. She was a math teacher. She went on a hunger strike for 11 days. And us as men, we could not do anything to help her because they would keep us all confined in our cells, and we couldn't. We could, and while she was being, they showed her no mercy at all. And psychologically, they would try to get under our skin by saying, "Look, you guys are men, and you can't even do anything to help her." I thought that was the end, but unfortunately, that was still really just only the beginning. In 40 days after I got into captivity, they flew us into Tulskaya Oblast, and then сколько часов? 4 часа? 4 hours they would drive. They drove us from when we landed to the actual where we were further held. They kept projectors, lights, dogs on us the whole time. Everyone had a number. We would run up and down the corridor. They call it a corridor of Shevchenko, and as we were running, they would try to trip us and they would beat us, and then they would put 50 people, put us all into different cells that were not accounted for that amount of people to be in. They they held us for a day and a half until they started putting us into individual cameras, individual cells. Even then, they were able to further degrade us by giving us a small can for to urinate in. Started playing roulette with us. The way that they would do it is the last person that would urinate into that cup, they would essentially he would have to take that many drinks of that cup. It's just completely horrible. I mean, in general, I mean, there's nothing words can't even describe it. Everything is written in the book, and that was only the beginning. This book is a book that serves as a document that's been confirmed by the Hague tribunals for nature where Not only am I speaking about just my experience as a prisoner of war, but as an individual who's seen Putin's Russia and what is going on inside the mentality of people. I call things by their names, and it's a tool that is to be used as for anti-propaganda. It's a testimony of the lives of people through my eyes. For the people that stood up for the sovereignty and the freedom of Ukraine. Also for the people that were waiting for Russia on the territory of Ukraine, in the territory of Ukraine. And from the people that didn't give a shit about either. But we all ended up in the same place. And the people that were waiting for Russia to come are still the ones there in prison. So Russia either way. That I went through. I tried to be as objective as possible when writing this book to make sure that everything was by the reader, so that when the reader understands that this is not a book that's made to for one or the other to look worse or better, but strictly as an objective view from what he experienced. I know that if I would have made any type of sentiment in this book that would have made me look different than I really was, these people would never have even shaken my hand afterwards. So everything was absolute fact. This book is dedicated to the people that were executed and tortured to their death for simply being Ukrainian. And that is the reasons why they would give, those the reasons that they would say why they are killing them, because we are Ukrainian. There's nothing here on the cover, as you see, that references any pro-Ukrainian symbols or any pro or any anti-Russian or pro-Ukrainian. It's simply you have to read the book to understand the meaning of the title. It's simply the explanation of how hunger, how a person carries over hunger, how each chapter of my story is told, and I talk about the psychological, my psychological experience and the relationship between the people, my imprisoners, the people that were imprisoning me, and my relationship with them, and every aspect of everything I experienced. So the Z in the barbed wire on the cover is symbolizing that the wire does not actually present a threat to us until we actually try to cross over it. Before the war happened, the Z symbol was never associated with anything negative. So my hand is that's his hand holding the book. Everything there is symbolizing what his everything real that he went through. Yeah, he was. Ты был обменен, он спрашивает, да, вот ты был, ну, обмен произошел и обменен был, да. Yes, and it was actually a miracle because I ended up being exchanged accidentally for somebody else. Yeah. I would like to say that that the goal of this book is not to sow any hatred or any division amongst any type of culture or people or nation. It's simply a recount of what was actually happening. Because there's a war against civilization and barbarianism. And this book will be the anti-propaganda tool that's used to counter the propaganda and the rhetoric coming out of the Russian Federation. The people that are waiting for the Russian world to come and all the post-Soviet republics, through this book, they will know that if Russia actually does come to their countries or where they live, everybody who is waiting for Russia to come will end up in that book. In this book that goes into the Belarusian and Russian sphere of culture. It will also polarize and divide the people of those cultures into civil or barbars. Because war is circumstances and humanity is a choice. Спрашивают, русские опровергают ну, все, что с тобой произошло. The Russians are, of course, denying it. However, not one Russian will sit on a polygraph and say that this didn't happen. Оправдать, как подскажите? Оправдать. Justify. That I would not have to justify what's being done. What I wrote in this book, essentially. When I visited Russian prisoners of war in Ukraine, I learned how to do it on Russians. They continue doing it. В оккупированных территориях, если, допустим, пара, да, муж и жена, одна из России, один украинец, скажем так, да, ну какое отношение к этим людям в оккупированных территориях? If you stayed as a Russian and on the occupied territories, then you would be mobilized as a man. Or they would take everybody in prisoner. There was a couple that was taken into captivity that was in the situation. Yeah. The woman had fourth stage of cancer. In one cell, they're torturing her husband, and then at the same time, they put him back into the cell, and then they start beating his wife, so he can hear it. Do you understand the right? Do you understand the barbarism of the people that are doing this? Or when they're beating a captured prisoner and saying soon your wife and son are going to be experiencing the same things. Can a man say these things? Can somebody who calls himself a righteous man, can they say these things? The Russians themselves have taken Russia and lowered it. And a country that covers itself by saying that they're religious or Russian Orthodox is a country that is the most godless. And I didn't have this type of opinion until I actually was there.
Is there any talk about the Geneva Convention and other countries? I mean, obviously they don't. But what is their excuse for not observing the Geneva Convention?
They drew away from the Geneva Convention. Okay. They took their signatures, their ratification,
okay.
And they
when the war started,
just slightly before.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's no reason for them to.
It's like the Japanese Imperial Army.
Something similar like that. Yeah. No ICRC, no community and organization can go in there.
And the Red Cross can't go in.
No, they don't let anybody in. So this book is it's available for purchase if anyone's interested. It's also, by the way, all the funds that are from this book, Oleksii organization, and what he does is he helps children of either imprisoned Ukrainian soldiers, and he helps their families until the return of their husbands, and he takes care of the children in those families as well. So all the money that is generated from this, I mean, it's used to help his medical treatment, and it's also for other families.
Has he connected with the American
We plan on doing that on our tour. Yes, further down. So we've been here for about a week, and we met with a couple of We met with a congressman, and we're going to be in Los Angeles. We will be meeting with the American Legion post out there as well. But if anybody has any type of connection or any type of, yeah, we're very much open to speaking to any as much news media or publishing or interviews. We are open to all of that. And I'm sorry, but I don't want to take up any more time because I think we have to.
How long?
It's until we're going to be here until the at the end of the first week of October. So, in DC we're leaving on Saturday. Oleksii is going to New York. Yeah, but we'll be in LA. Zelensky showed his photo to Trump when he was in the White House. He was the first photo. It was yeah. So. And he's been. I mean, different presidents in different countries of Europe have all seen him. He's visited these countries, Japan, Israel, everybody. We're just bringing this now to the U.S. and we would like to try to publish it in English language. He was in 23 countries over the past year.
What's been the reaction?
The reaction has been very. Probably the same reaction that you all have. It's been very, very strong. So. The reaction was the Prince of Saudi Arabia helped me actually get prisoners, do prisoner exchanges. So, yeah, because he didn't understand. Yeah, and of course they don't hear. Yeah, they don't. Because in the Muslim religion, it's very. I'm sorry, but we've run out of time, and I don't want to hold anybody up. Thank you all for your attention.